Hello. Okay, happy Thursday, you guys. We got an upper body workout today, upper body and core today. So for equipment, there we go. You guys can bring out the stuff that you're going to use for today, which is going to be using my 8-pound dumbbells, my loop bands. If you do have a TRX, we are going to be doing lots of rowing stuff. So if you have it set up, if you don't have it set up, you can set it up and use it. That is an option for today. And then in addition to that, anchored bands, if you guys are wanting to incorporate those where we attach the band in front of us, kind of pulling it in off of that anchored point. Again, I'm not equipped to show that to you, but it is on the table for some of these exercises, which I'm going to explain. So for the warm-up as well, you guys will need a long band, which again is not completely necessary. So if you don't have one, you're just going to follow along with your hands out like this, palms facing away. If you do have a band, we'll hold it as wide as we can, and we'll start off with these pass-throughs. So we'll go through 10 of these total, trying to keep the arms as straight as possible. Palms face behind us, and then as we open up, we're trying to open up the palms facing away from us. So we'll go through 10 of these total. There and back is 1, and you guys can do 10. And we will go through this, making this feel comfortable. It shouldn't be painful or uncomfortable. If that's happening, you might want to just widen up your hands. So we'll go through our 10. I've got my list here. Teams. So we're kind of flip-flopping between using the band and not using the band. So that is the first one. And then you guys can put your band down, and we're going to stick our arms out to the sides and do these little swimmers here. And you can just follow along with these ones. You don't have to count them. We're going until we feel that burning sensation starting in our shoulders. So band down, stick out those arms for this next one, and we will start going through these little swimmers. So again, we're trying to create that lactic acid or that burning feeling in our shoulders. Once you start to feel that, we'll turn the palms and face them in front of us like this and do the same ones, but rather than going up and down, we'll go forward and backward. So by now we should, we are starting to burn in the shoulders, which is what we want. And we will hold this here for about 10 more seconds, just going back and forth, trying to really get that fire brewing in our shoulders. So relaxing those arms, you guys can pick up your band again, and we are going to go into a press. Now I'm going to kneel just because my arms kind of get cut off here, but you guys can stay standing. You don't have to kneel. I just want to show you what's happening here. So I'm holding the band a little wider than my shoulders, going to press all the way, and when I press up, I'm trying to lose my neck. I want my shoulders to come to my ears, and then I'll pull down in front, coming to my collarbones, trying to pull those shoulders down and back. So again, we reach up, my band stays tight. You never want to see the band go loose. Lose the neck, hug the ears with your shoulders, and then we'll pull down and do the opposite, where we pull those shoulders down and back. So we'll go through 10 of these total, no neck, and then squeezing your back, bringing your shoulder blades together. 10 of them. Okay, so if you can't quite touch your shoulders to your ears, that's completely fine. Some people literally will never be able to do that just because of the way your body works. But we want to be kind of shrugging the shoulders and bringing them, lifting them up as high as we can. So we'll go through 10, and then we are headed down onto the floor for the next one. So you guys are giant feather. We're going to go into an all-four position. Stick one hand behind our head like this. Close off, trying to bring our elbow to the top of our hand. And then we'll exhale and open, trying to move through the lower back, the mid back, but not the legs. So we've been doing this one where we reach that hand through with the thread the needle, but today you guys are keeping that hand behind your head, which makes this feel much more limited than doing it the other way. So we'll go through 10, and trying to exhale as we open, eventually seeing if you can just, open a little bit wider, be a little bit more comfortable on that open, and we'll do that on both sides, right side and left side. So again, little to no movement in the legs. We're just trying to move and loosen up our back. Everything around our spine for 10%. Okay, so do you think, last one we are going to go through in this warm up is standing back up to the top. And it is going to be a variation of our band pull apart. So it's a little different than our normal band pull apart, which looks like this. It's a 3-way band pull apart. So as you guys come to an end on that rotation, you will stand up. For those of you who do not have a band, you are going to get into your bent over, thumbs up position like this, and you'll follow along doing the same position of the arms, just not holding the band, of course, because you don't have one. But if you have a band, we're going to hold it out in front of us like this. First one is coming across the body. Second one is coming up. One arm goes a little high, one goes a little low, and then the third one goes in the other direction, and then I reset to that center one. So we're counting every single one of these, doing 15 of them total, counting all of them. So that's, 2 and then 3, and you'll count out 15 and going in those different directions. And sometimes it can be very easy to be like a little bit excessive with those directions. We just want a slight movement to target different muscles in your back, your shoulders, all of that. So we'll go through 15, and then we are going to get you guys started on our first 2 exercises. So once you're done, you can put that down, shift it out, and we're gonna get this party started with a single arm shoulder press. So we're doing this one today from a half kneeling position. Actually, this first part, for the most part, is going to be kind of down on the floor, transitioning between that half kneeling position where we're going to be pressing one hand up, and then we'll be doing a pull down variation, which I'm going to do in a Superman position where I lay on my tummy, holding that band sideways. So this is where those options are starting to come into play. If you guys have somewhere to anchor your band, we've talked about this a lot. If I attach the band in front of me and actually have something to like pull in towards me, that's more ideal. So if you have that available, set it up. The other thing I like to mention on days like today is those TRX pull-ups. If you are someone who really does want to challenge yourself in a pull-up and really work your back muscles, if you have a TRX as well, you can set up that TRX to do this kind of pulling down motion. But let's start off with the shoulder press. Getting a little ahead of ourselves. We're going to go through a set of this press. You guys are doing 15 reps per side. So I'm actually going to start off with one of my dumbbells rather than 2 and go through this first set because I have a feeling that the 15 reps might be challenging enough with just this one 8-pound. I mean, I might use both of my weights, but I'll start this first one with the 15, kind of more as a precautionary measure rather than going right to my 2 dumbbells. So you can start your first set. For those of you who are working with bands, you have ways. You can hold a band like this and press up like so. The other thing that you can do if you have like a longer set band is you can anchor it underneath that foot in the front and then again go through your press. So we're doing 15 of them per side, okay? So you'll do 15 on this first side and then we'll switch and you can do 15 on the other side. And then you guys are going right into that superset, which is that pull-in motion, that Superman with the pull-in. And this is us. So yeah, we're pretty much, hanging out down on the floor. You guys can just kind of get going right after your shoulder press into this Superman. So most important is that pull down motion. Again, if I had somewhere to attach this band that wouldn't like fling out and hit me, I could anchor the band, hold the band, and then pull it in towards me. But regardless of what you're holding in your hands, whether it's nothing or that band or maybe something sideways like this, we want the elbows down and the shoulder blades down and back away from the ears. Okay, legs stay down, hips stay down, feet stay down. We're not lifting up the lower body. We want to keep it all glued to the floor. Just the upper body, the shoulder blades are coming together, and then you're reaching them away. So you guys are going through 10 of these total. Did I mention that at the beginning? Maybe not, but now you know. Maybe it's a nice break from doing the 15 shoulder presses. Okay, so we're doing 10 reps down there only. And then we are doing it again, going right into our second, third, and fourth set. Now, that first set I did with the one weight here, it was challenging. But on the second set here, I will most likely try to make it a little bit harder. So I'll go right into using both of my weights. If you guys don't have more than one weight, or maybe now this is too much, right? Now you're kind of, you can't do 15 because the weights are too heavy. Then you can do your other things, including slowing down or pausing the top of those reps. So spending a bit more time up here. It's a little shaky, a little uncomfortable, okay? And that goes for the band, the dumbbells, whatever you guys are using. So we'll go through our second set. Okay, and keep in mind, my knees are like, what are you doing? Because this mat is super flimsy. So if I was actually like joining you guys in doing this through all these 4 sets, I would definitely grab something to put underneath my knee, or I would just, fold up my mat a couple times to make it a little bit more big to support. Because it's not important. We should be comfortable when we're doing this stuff. Okay, so 15 and 15, woo, and then we're back down onto the floor. So you don't actually need something to hold in your hands, but when we do hold something in our hands, we're getting that sideways lateral tension. That helps us just to overall keep everything more tight and involved in our shoulders and back muscles. So ideally, I want you guys to hold something here, or hold something in front of you. And keep in mind that the wider you pull it, the harder it's going to be. Even if I hold a little bit more narrow and pull it a little bit wider, more tension is harder, because we're only doing 10 reps of those total. Okay. I feel like I've been kneeling the whole time. So yeah, we're gonna get a little double up action going on the mat. So you guys have 2 more rounds of this stuff. We are hanging out on the floor. So we're going into this 3rd set. Now this half kneeling position, I chose this for a reason, because it gives us a lot of support for our core and lower back. We don't actually have to use this at all, especially if you think about kind of tightening up your glute. That's going to give you a really strong trunk, and then we don't accidentally end up arching for our back. Especially when we're standing and we're pressing, it's a very common thing for us to kind of do a little bit of this action, because it just makes it kind of feel easier. And it's very hard to do down in this half kneeling position. Okay, on the flip side of that, it doesn't really matter, okay, if you're standing or if you're kneeling. So those of you who do have like sensitive knees, pre-existing stuff going on, you don't have to kneel, okay? You can stand. It's just the position that I chose for this, for the workout today, because again, you get that support for your core, for your low back. So we'll go through our next couple sets thinking about that, trying to keep it nice and tight in here. And if you guys are feeling like too much pressure in your lower back, check yourself. Especially if you're doing like the Superman version down here, that you are not lifting up your legs, because that will definitely involve those low back muscles, and then you'll just kind of feel it too much as we go through this set. So we shouldn't be feeling too much work, maybe slightly, but more just left over from the last couple days. All right, so we'll get you guys going in that 3rd set of the Supermans. We want to be drawing those elbows down into the floor in front of us. Whatever you guys are pulling in towards yourself, you want to push those elbows underneath the wrists rather than have them kind of flare up and out like this. Because this makes it almost impossible for us to use our back muscle, whereas if we push that forward, and you'll feel the difference. You'll actually feel this kind of working and activating if you scoop those elbows forward. So we'll try to take that into our 3rd set. You guys have 1 more to do, and then we are moving on. We're going to get up off the floor, I guess. I guess so. Okay, so breathing through those 10 Superman pull-ins, we'll get going right into our final set of this 15 per side shoulder press. A nice strong arm that's not pressing. Body should stay completely still. Let's duet 15 burning reps, especially by now, this final set. So we'll get these in. Nice job, guys. All right, So we'll do both sides, 15 of them, and then we'll switch, 15 over on this side for the shoulders. And then we'll finish off this superset down in that Superman position for 10 reps. And then we are moving on. So I believe the timing is usually right. You guys have about 2 minutes to finish up your presses and your Superman pulls. And then we're moving on. On to the next part. All right, so strongest set. You want to feel all that stuff in your back. So push those elbows down. Genuinely just think about it more, okay? Just focus on it more. Hold it in if you need to, because we know that gives us more time to kind of focus on what we're feeling. 10 of them. And then you guys can stand up and get off the floor and grab yourself some water. Woo! Hopefully you're feeling good in that upper body. Moving on to the next part. You guys will need all of this stuff, okay? So don't jump the gun on putting anything away, because you will need it. So we'll get these 10. Woohoo! And then, okay. So we'll give you guys just under a minute to finish up that part. If you are already coming to an end, then grab some H2O, and we'll just wait for these guys to finish up. Moving on to the next part, we have more rows coming up, so keep your TRXs up if you are using them, your anchored bands, whatever it is. Okay, so we're gonna start you guys off with the first exercise, which is a single-sided exercise, although there is kind of like some sneaky work going on the other side. We're going to be working with a lateral raise, but rather than just kind of lifting up both arms like this, we're gonna hold them up here. We know this one, and then we're only lifting one at a time through all of our 10 reps. So what we're going to need for this ideally is dumbbells, holding them down by our sides, 5s, 8s, 10s, somewhere in there. And we're going to try to see if we can do this for 10 per side, 10 over here, and then we'll switch. And now this one stays up, and we'll do 10 over here. And then we have a second exercise that we're going to do with this, which is a variation of a row, which we're going to talk about after we do our first set, of course. So grab onto your weights. Again, if you're using dumbbells, they are down by those sides. If you guys are using bands, ideally you'll want a longer set band. So if you only have loop bands, loop them together. You can just use one, but the longer band is better to make like a longer band like this. And then again, we'll hold up and you'll work with the one side at a time, 10, and then we'll switch and you'll do 10 on this side. So you guys can start your first set if you have not already, and standing nice and tall, holding in this T. Oh, these 8s are gonna be hard. Okay, but I can do it. I just gotta breathe, focus on keeping that arm straight. And if I feel like I'm not going to make it, bent arms will make this feel a lot more manageable. Okay, so try it and then see how you feel, and then keep that in mind because you guys will have to do this a few more times, 3 more to be specific. So this is our first one, 10 and 10. We're going to pair this with 10 reps of an alternating row where we're alternating between a narrow and a wide grip row. So I'm going to be using my dumbbells, soft knees in this bent over position. I will pull into this narrow, kind of elbows tucked in position, and then I'll pull out into this wide grip just beyond that push-up position, a little wider than the push-up. And so we're going through these alternating, the narrow and the wide is 1, so that's 2. Okay, and 3, and we're doing 10. So yes, I guess it's a sneaky 20. Okay, so you guys can start right now. And if you are working with TRXs, reduction, you're leaning back, going through those 2 different rows, alternating your arms. Dumbbells, if you're using bands, you don't have anything to anchor, we can go like this, and then narrow, and then wide, which is hard with the loop bands. Okay, so you'll go through, then narrow plus wide equals 1, and you are doing 10 of them. Oh, yes. All the rows. So nice strong core, especially if you are doing that bent over one, so you get that support. All right. So this little combination here, we have the shoulders working really hard, obviously, in that lateral raise, and then we have our back muscles working in this row variation. So we have two different muscles going on. We don't need to take much, if any, rest in between these sets. We're going to try to just go right back into our lateral raises. So once you guys are done your rows, if you need to just, quick sip of water, but keep in mind that there is no prescribed like 30 seconds, 45 seconds of rest. So we're going to try to just get right back into it and go into our second round of our laterals, 10 reps, and then 10 reps. Okay, so for those of you who are really just like, it is not working, okay, your dumbbells are too heavy and or your shoulders are just too tired to do this, it's okay, again, if you want to try doing it with bent arms, you can try even just bending this top one here, or worst case, you can just lift up one from the bottom here all the way up, okay, but you're missing out on that holding aspect if you don't hold it up here like that, okay, so just keep that in mind. If you ever feel like relaxing your arms, you can do it, but you're missing out on the good stuff. Okay, so second round, let's get it. Back to our bent over, narrow, and then wide. I was scared I'm gonna like punch the wall. Okay, and I'm in this neutral grip with my hands. I want this slight angle in my hands here, and that stays for both of these rows. It's the positioning of the elbows that moves. So we still want the shoulder blades together happening on both of these, but in this one, the elbows are in, and then in this one, the elbows are out. So it's actually the wide one that you guys are going to feel is a lot harder, most likely. So you will be your own judge, of course, but the wide grip, in theory, is the harder one. All right, so we have 2 more sets of this very fun stuff. Little combo moves. Good job, you guys. You got it going up. So we'll go in on our third set. Okay, so keep in mind if you guys are using bands for this kind of stuff, same rules applies to what we talked about down in that Superman. You hold the band more narrow, it's going to be more tight, more challenging to hold up here to move through. So yeah, if that's something that you want, you can try narrowing up your hands. And then on the flip side, you have the opposite. Okay, so wide hands is a little easier. Let it all burn. It should burn. By the end of the set, you should not be able to and or want to do more than 10. All right, so let's get that happening for ourselves. We have 1 more set, most likely, to go through after this one. And lots of time. You guys have about 4 minutes to finish up this one and the other one. Lots of time. There we go. Alrighty then, let's get it. So we are approaching our final set. Coming up here, so finish strong. Okay. This cat keeps wanting to climb up on the screen. Got him. All right. Okay, you guys, nice work. So we have about 2 more minutes. I can't talk. Couple more minutes here to finish up this part. This single arm lateral, which is way harder than it looks. Am I right? Holding that weight up there. I mean, we've done it before where we kind of alternate, right side, left side, but it's just the whole time. It's a good one. So get through it. This is the last set, the last one. And then we are going to move on. We have 1 more part here to our upper body strength. Look at us go. And then we are working our core, all the muscles in our abs and our core today, which means we are back down on the floor, but not quite yet. Okay, we got 1 more part. So take your time, you guys. We'll finish up this superset nice and strong, like the strongest. Okay, even though we're the most tired, we'll make this one the hardest, most challenging set in the best way possible. All right, so 10 and 10. We get 10 of those alternating rows. Perfect. Okay. Yay, we are getting there. So you guys have just under 1 minute that I will give you to finish up this part. Just keep the sweet time with it. If you are done and or coming to an end, hopefully that minute is up, you guys can just grab some water and get yourself mentally prepared for this last part. Because we have one more part. It's a little circuit style trio of exercises. We have 3 movements that you guys are going to work through. And then we are hanging out on the floor, working our core until the end. So good news, we're almost there, but not quite yet. We're gonna get through this final part. So as you guys are finishing up those 2, we are gonna get set up for the first exercise of this last little circuit here. And I say circuit because same style as what you just did. We're not going to be taking any rest in between, okay? If any, maybe at the very end, but we'll try to just kind of get through this and keep moving through our 4 rounds that we have. First exercise is a 1-arm stretcher row. So we're going to set up for this 1-arm row. We're going to do this in a standing lunge position. So what I'm going to do is use my dumbbells. For those of you who are using bands, we can anchor a band around our opposite foot like this. Another very effective way to do this one is using like an anchored band in front of us, something attached, and then pulling in. We could use TRX as well, but the TRX is typically really it's very demanding. It's a very hard exercise to pull in. And the way we're doing this row makes it feel like a lot harder and a lot more weak. So what we're gonna do is get set up. I'm going to be using my dumbbell. I'm gonna start with 2 actually, because it's quite a strong movement. So I'm gonna hold both of my dumbbells like this, hip width apart, soft knees. We'll push our hips back. And then I'll send the foot of the side of the weight that I'm holding back onto the toe in this lunge position. This hand is going to go onto my thigh like so, and then my palm is facing my hip, and I'm going to allow my shoulder to come forward. And then I want to exhale, pull in, and rotate, squeezing the shoulder back. So I'm allowing the weight to come forward. I know I'm wearing black here, but the shoulder is stretching forward, and then we're pulling it back, going through 10 per side. So this is a stretcher row. We're trying to stretch out and then pull into that row. And that goes for dumbbells, that goes for the bands, okay? Same rules apply, trying to really move through that upper back. So we'll go through 10 per side. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Should be feeling that all up in there. All right, do that on both sides. This one. Okay, so yeah, another one that looks much easier than it is. Okay, so that is our first movement, okay? 10 and 10. We're actually keeping it nice and simple. It is 10 reps across the board for all of these, okay? But this is a single-sided one, so 10 per side. And those ones might take a little longer because of that extra range that we have, that extra little stretch at the bottom. So next one is going to be our rotating bicep curl. We're going to be working those arms. So again, dumbbells are ideal for this one. If you guys do not have dumbbells, we can hold a band sideways in our hands or anchor a band underneath our feet and hold each side in our hand. Palm faces the hips. Going to pull up and rotate so my palm faces my shoulders, coming all the way up and slightly lifting up my arm. So we'll come back down, and then I lift. And so I don't want the top part of my arm to stay completely still. I want it to come up and just forward slightly. And you can do a little check down and just make sure that you have that slight little lifting motion going on here. And we're going through 10 reps total through these curls with that rotation. If you guys are working with bands, don't worry about the rotation, okay? But do worry about that slight lift in the arm still, and then keeping the tension sideways on the band. So we'll go through 10 of them. Okay, okay. Good job, you guys. So that is our second one. We have one more to go, which is going to be our external rotation lifts. So this one is it's kind of like a funky shoulder-focused exercise. It's these little shoulders, shoulder muscles, your rotator cuffs, you've probably heard of them before. You don't need a lot, okay? So I'm going to be using this band, holding just the one edge of it sideways with an underhand grip, 90 degrees, and then tension on the band. Okay, if you guys do not have a band, you can do this without a band, but ideally we want something to hold in our hands, whether it's a band or a towel. I'm pointing over there because it's a towel, or a loop band like this, okay? And then what we're going to do is with that tension, we're lifting up to eye level and then lowering back into that 90 degree. Lifting up to eye level, lowering back to 90, and that goes for whatever you guys are holding. Lifting eyes, and then 90. And we're going through 10 reps of these total, trying to work those little burning hot fire muscles in your shoulders that you are feeling right now. 10 times, lifting up and down, maintaining that 90 degree. Oh yes, it burns, I know. And then that is us. We're gonna repeat 3 more rounds, which is gonna bring us to the end of our final part of the strength. So once you're done, you're going back into the first one, that one arm stretching row, stretcher row. So whatever you guys are using, dumbbells, your hands, we'll bring them out and we will go right into our second set. So again, if you're using the dumbbells, you want the soft knees, strong setup, foot back, and then we'll go through that big stretched row. Okay, and the width, how wide your feet are, depends on you and what's comfortable for you. So that's why we just hinged our hips, and I just had you guys kind of step your foot back, just wherever it's comfortable. But we do want to stay lifted up onto the toe, which is going to help keep our weight kind of shifted forward and not, put too much work in the legs, because that is not the goal on this one. Okay. So second set, 10 and 10. We got it. Okay, so we'll go right into those rotating bicep curls where we're slightly lifting up our arms. Oh, yes. Okay, the slower you go on this one, especially on this part when we're putting those weights back down, the harder that this one's going to be. You already knew that. Okay, here it is. All right. We got it going on, 10 of them. Okay, so finishing up and with that external rotation. So when you guys are setting up for this, before we pull our hands apart, they should be wrists in line with our elbows, kind of like in this position here. And then when I pull apart, I want my wrists and hands to be slightly wider than my elbows. And that's where I'm getting that external rotation work in my shoulder. Whereas if my elbows are kind of flared out, I'm not actually putting my shoulder into that rotated outward position. So I'm not working it in the way that we want to in this one. So you check yourself, I'm going to do a little look down, make sure that you are at 90, and then you'll pull open, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You don't need a huge opening, just tension, just tight on the band. And then now as you go through the sets, ooh, it burns, but it like progressively burns more. So by the end of it, you have to put it down. Okay, that is what I want you guys feeling by the end of the set. So you can kind of gauge your hands a little narrow, a little bit more wide to make yourself feel that way. And remember, the elbows in, the hands out. Oh yeah. It's kind of like exactly what your body doesn't want to do. That's where it gets really hard. That's what we want. Okay, so we'll go into our third set. You guys have 2 more rounds to do through these ones. And plenty of time to do so. You guys have about 6 minutes to get through these next 2 sets. Just plenty of time. So we're back into that first one, and that one arm rotating row. Okay, let's do it. All right. So if you guys are working with bands, another thing to note, and this does go for dumbbells as well, but the bands is a lot more typical to happen, is we want that outward tension on the band as well here. So we don't want to allow that hand to be pulled over top of the foot, and that goes for the dumbbell, the band, whatever is in your hand. And then we'll go through and you'll feel, we'll just try it. See how it feels. It's going to feel a lot harder. Again, it's all about keeping that tension on those back muscles. All right. So set number 3. If you guys have not started, let's do it. There it is. Okay, a little bit of a lift in those arms. And the reason why we're lifting the arms like that is because the biceps, that is part of the motion that they do, is they assist your shoulder in lifting your arm forward like that. So by pulling, rotating, and doing that slight lift, we're getting a full-on workout on those muscles, not just half by pulling up. So it's important that you do that. All right, so shoulders, the burn. You guys have one more round after this. Look at us go. Woohoo! Nice job, you guys. 10 of them. Nice and slow, lifting up and down. I know you want to like slingshot your band across the room when you're done that set, but don't, because you have one more. And then maybe you can chuck it away after, but one more set. All right, so keep going on here. Final round, 10-10 across the board. 3 movements are going to take us to the finish line of our strength. Yay! Good job, guys. Okay. Thinking about what you're feeling in your back, trying to squeeze. Bring the shoulder blades behind the ear. You got it. All right. So we have just over 2 minutes, which is plenty of time to finish this up. All right. So strongest set. Again, this is the set that you are the most tired. Okay, your body probably doesn't necessarily want to do these things, but that's why it is even more so important that you do them properly as best as you can through this final set. So we'll get those 10 rows, the curls, the rotations, and then your upper body can have a bit of a break after this one. I have to double check, but yes. It's all core and abs. There it is. All right, so final set, you guys. We are also on a timer for the last part, so how nice is that? Okay, so take your time. We have about a minute. I'm just setting our timer for the final part. Oh, geez. 30 seconds. Okay. 18, that is not right. There we go. So, good job, you guys. Take your time. If you are already done, sorry, this thing is giving me a hard time right now. There we go. If you are already done, you can just grab yourself some water, walk it off, shake it out, because you're probably burning a lot up in there. We are done. The upper body. Okay, once you're done that final set of those burn-in fire external rotation lifts, you can shake it out and put your stuff down and away, because we will not be needing it for the last part here. Although, actually, I should tell you that I do have an option for you to use your band. We're going to be doing a dead bug variation. And one of my favorite variations of the dead bug uses a band anchored behind our head. So I'm just going to talk about this one because unfortunately I don't have the setup to do it, but it is a wonderful option and one of my favorites, and I highly suggest that you do it if you have the available setup for it. So what we would do is take this band and I would attach it to something behind me here, and I would hold the band and pull it in as I go through my dead bug. So rather than that, I'm just going to be holding weights up here, okay, instead of that, or you can just go body weight if you need to, if you find that the weights up here are too hard. So we have options on equipment for these ones, but keep in mind that you can always just put the weights down or put the band down if it gets too hard, because you guys are going to be doing this first one here for 60 seconds. So we're going to be spending 1 minute down here working in this dead bug variation, and then we have 20 seconds of transition time. 2 more exercises that I will show you on the timer. Second one is a double-sided one too, which is nice. And then we are doing 4 rounds, and then we are done, okay? We are gonna get on with our day and feel amazing. So let's start off with this first one. Again, if you have the bands set up, if you don't have bands, whatever it is, you can grab your weights. If you guys wanna do, I'm gonna press start on my timer up here, and then we are gonna start this thing, okay? Are you guys ready for this? Okay, so we're starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Okay, so dead bugs, most important is that that lower back is squished into the floor, okay? So we can hold weights here. You can hold a single weight, or you can put them down and hold nothing. Okay, but holding something just kind of gives us a little something to distract us. Okay, so low back into the floor. As we extend our legs, we want to exhale and then inhale as we bring them in. If you can't keep your back down, keep your leg bent, okay, because it's not worth it doing this with the back coming off the floor. So you guys have 25 seconds left. Okay, I know a minute is a long ass time for a dead bug, which is the goal today. So just work through it, breathe through it, and try to see if you can keep that low back down for 10 more seconds. Okay, even if you just do a couple more of those lid lowers, that's okay. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so the next one's our crossover crunch. So we're going to be spending 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. Laying down on my back, legs are bent up. My working side, I'm going to straighten out my leg. This hand can go down on the floor. And then I'll cross over and try to bring these two together while my shoulder blade leaves the floor, my neck and head leaves the floor. And here we go. So we're working through this one for 30 seconds on this side. And then I'll tell you guys when to switch, and we'll do 30 seconds on the other side. You want to make this a little bit harder, again, just squish your back down stronger and keep those limbs hovering above the floor. If you need a little break, you can touch down in between, but again, very important that that back is down. Okay, one more, and switch sides. So right away, we'll switch and go into the other side. So exhaling as we come in together. You absolutely do not have to touch your toe, your foot, anything like that, but we want to go in that direction to promote the shoulder blade to come off the floor. Okay, you guys have 10 seconds left. You got this. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good job, you guys. Okay, so last one we're going into is a bridge walk. So this one's not necessarily about like your abs, it's about your core and your stability of your hips and core muscles. So we're gonna get ourselves into a bridge, squish the low back down, you can push up. If you do want a bit more challenge, you can hold something in your hands up here or simply just lift up your arms. And then we're going to walk our hips one side at a time. I'm stabilizing with the other and then lifting the opposite, trying to have no movement or shifting happening in my hips. So I want to avoid this at all costs. Drive up. If you need to make it a bit easier, you can narrow out your feet, bring them closer. If you need to make it harder, you can widen up your feet. Okay, but this one is, this one's pretty damn hard, okay? Especially if you are working to keep your hips stable and all that, which is the goal. Okay, so just try to breathe into this one. And if you can try doing it with your arms lifted, it's harder. 15 seconds left though. There it is. Nice job, you guys. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so that was our first set. Doing it again. 3 more times. But you already saw that coming because I told you, I warned you. So back to the first one, the dead bug. So again, if you have your band, attached behind you, your dumbbells, whatever it is, grab it. Maybe you're not using anything, that's okay. And we will go through our set. Trying to squish that low back down, exhaling and squishing the back down at the same time as we send that leg out. So it's kind of like a simultaneous exhale, send the air out. But as we do that, we're also trying to push the back in and send the leg out. That's where the hardest part is, when that leg is out there. So it's most important that our back is tight. And if you practice that with breathing, it just makes sure that it's always down there, always nice and tight. Good practice. 20 seconds left, you guys. Oh, the dead bug. Okay, this one's kind of nice. Move your arms. Coordination. We're taking that part out of it. 10 more seconds left. Okay, so squeeze the back. Use your breath. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so we're laying down on our back all the way, and legs are bent up. You can straighten out one side. Opposite hand is going to reach out behind you. And we're going to go through this crossover crunch, starting in 5 seconds. So get yourself ready, set, and here we go. Let's do it. All right. So moving through this side, breathing through this side. 15 more seconds over here. Good job, guys. Okay, a couple more right there. 3, 2, and switch sides. Other side, let's do it. Do it, do it. 15 seconds. Breathing through this one, shoulder beat the floor. There it is. Good work, you guys. 5 seconds. So close. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, good job. So this last one here, this bridge walk. Again, it's about that core stability. So if you're doing this and your hips are rocking all over the place and they're not actually staying stable and still, you're not actually getting what you need out of this. So what I want you to try is walking your feet so close that they're touching together. Drive up into the bridge, hands on the floor, and now see if that helps you maintain that stability of your hips. Okay, what you have to think about is before you lift up the leg, you want to squeeze the butt of the opposite leg, which gets us that nice strong feeling in the hips, and then we lift up, which is giving us that core work in the hips, the glutes, the abs. Okay, and if you're good here, then you can try lifting up your arms, and then eventually you can try doing this with your feet a little bit wider apart. But there is no sense in doing that if your hips are moving and if they're not staying stable and still. Okay, that is the most important. That is the only important thing in this one. Okay, and being, of course, in that bridge position. 15 seconds. Oh, yes. Good job, guys. Let's go. There it is. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. All right. Halfway. We have 2 more sets, and then we are done. Home stretch. So we're going to get through this third set of the dead bug starting in 10 seconds. You guys can lay on your back, but you're already most likely there. But get yourself set up. Hold your dumbbells, your band, nothing, whatever it is. And here we go. Switch the back down and really try to focus on the breathing. Now, the more you do it, the more you try to connect that breathing and use that exhale in the hard parts of these movements and exercises. It just kind of becomes second nature eventually, but initially it is not. Okay, and initially your breathing is most likely going to be all over the place. You might hold your breath, you might be like inhaling on the hard part, and so by reminding you of this and by having you actually consciously think about it, it's going to kind of help us put it in there and ingrain it so that it just happens more naturally as we go. 20 more seconds for you to practice that. So again, we're exhaling, so we send the leg out, exhaling as the back pushes down. 15 seconds. So good, you guys. Second last time you are here. Not too bad, not too bad. 3, 2, 1, and nice work. Okay, so relax those legs. We're kind of just hanging out on the floor on our backs the whole time here, doing these different movements. All right, so we got this crossover crunch. Yeah. You guys ready for this? 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So we have that opposite leg, opposite arm, meeting in the middle. You got it going on. Okay, so same rules as you come up. It's the challenging work. So that's the exhale. It's also when we want that back down. There it is. Give me like 2 more on this side. 1 more. And we will switch sides. Good job, you guys. On the side, 30 seconds. On the second side, let's do it. Trying to do the exact same thing that you did on the first side over here. No matter how tired you feel. Still try to do it. Do it up. 10 more seconds. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice work. Okay, the bridge walks. And then we have 1 more set, and you guys are done for the day. Okay, so bridge position, you guys. Get it ready. Get it set. 3, 2, 1, and go. Let's do it. Walking those feet, those hips. Trying to keep them stable. Thinking about squeezing your butt, activating your glute before you lift up that opposite limb. So it's the opposite glute that helps when we're lifting up. Say we're lifting up the left leg, it's the right glute that's tight. And then we switch that every single time we step the feet. And see if you can do that for yourself. 30 seconds left. Nice work, you guys. Let's do it. Okay, so breathing through it. 15 more seconds. There it is. 3, 2, 1, and okay, last set, you guys. We are here, the last round. So we're back to the first one. 1 more set of each of these, and then we're not done for the day. All right, so we're back to the dead bug. Get yourself ready. Arms up, legs up, holding something here, band, whatever it is. Let's go. So we're working strongest set. It's the most tired one, the most exhausted. The hardest on this one to keep the back down, keep everything moving properly. So try even harder to keep that all in line. Nice work. Okay, just about halfway there. Get it. Last set of this one. Good job, you guys. 20 seconds left for the dead bug. All right, so we'll go through about 3 more per side. Keeping the time. Couple more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stand back. Okay, so we're on to our last set of this crossover crunch. So we'll extend that leg, that arm, hands reaching over our head. And you guys are working this in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we're trying to, again, meet in the middle. Keep the low back down the entire time, okay? The whole time that back is down to the floor. Okay, 10 more seconds on this side. We'll get a few more nice quality reps in. 3, 2, and we'll switch sides. Nice work, you guys. Other side, hustling, starting right away. There ain't no time on this clock for you to switch. 20 seconds left on the side. Last set. Isn't it? One more move after this. Those bridge walks up, done. 10 more seconds right here, too. Good job, you guys. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. Here we are, the last set, the last exercise, the bridge walks. Best for last. Okay, so we'll get ourselves into whatever position of our feet we're going to be the most stable in. Squeeze the butt nice and strong. Ready, set, and here we go. Lifting up those legs and trying to really tap into your core, pulling in your belly button. See if you can get that stability in those hips more so than you did on those first rounds. I mean, you're the most tired now, so it's almost more impressive that you do it now. And we always want to impress ourselves. 30 seconds left, you guys. This is it. We're so close. We need a strong finish right now. Not compromising any of those reps. We need all of them. 20 more seconds of them. There we go. 10 seconds left. Release like the wet. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice job, you guys. You are so very done. Woo! Hopefully you feel good. And if you don't, you will soon, once we're all rested and recovered. So we're going to flip over, since you are already down on the floor, into this all-four position. We're going to get a little low back core stretching on. So first one, you can round your back up. And then the next one, we can push our ribs down and arch our back up. And you'll go through this as many times as you want, really. I would go through at least 2 to 3. Try to inhale and then exhale into those positions. Exhaling and then inhale. And then exhale. And you're going to get a nice stretch through the spine, through the core. When you're feeling ready, you can sit on your heels. Walk those fingertips away, which will give you that nice stretch in your back. And you can spend as much time as you would like down here, at least 30 seconds, upward to a minute. Stretching it out. And in addition to these ones, your chest, your shoulders are definitely a good one to stretch today. So you guys can just reach behind your back, do something a little bit simple like this, and just get a little stretch in on those shoulders. Or if you want to take that one a bit further, you can find your door frame or use your wall to do that more deeper stretch on your chest and shoulders, which we know I'm always talking about and on your guys' asses about, helps our posture. So if that's something that you want, it's a good time to do it because we did a lot of pressing and shoulder work. But you guys are done with me. Thank you so much. Thanks to Carly and Dave for coming out live. You guys are awesome. And also tomorrow, I'm going to be uploading a pre-recorded class rather than hosting a live one. So you guys can find that. I'm going to upload it today. But if you want to do the 8 a.m. class tomorrow, just hop onto our YouTube channel and or go into our Facebook group, and you will find tomorrow's class kind of pre-recorded style. So I'm going to tell you what to do, and then you'll press pause and go do it because I will not be here tomorrow. But anyways, thank you guys so much and have a great day. And I will see you guys on Monday or tomorrow if you do that pre-record. Bye.